All right, let's get started. Today we're going to be working on our altered books and art journals. So I have my book and I've already started altering it in my last video. I took out some pages and made sure that I had everything ready to start adding all my art elements to this. And if you look inside my book, it has white paper on the inside of the cover and then another blank white page, and that's what I'm going to be filling out first. So to fill that out, I'm going to be doing some stream of consciousness writing, and that's just when you write and you don't stop writing or correct yourself. And while I'm doing this stream of consciousness, I'm going to be wanting to try to sort of stay on topic with my theme. I'm going to be thinking about that, and the theme that I chose was self-discovery. And I'm going to be having my stream of consciousness instead of just going left to right in my pages like I'm writing in a traditional journal. I want to have it be kind of like a stream or a pathway that's going to be winding around all of my pages here. So in order to make sure that that doesn't look like a complete mess, I'm going to be making some guidelines, and I'll show you how to do that on this paper first. You're going to need 2 pencils, and you're going to tape them together in kind of a narrow X. So I'm going to go ahead and get some painter's tape and do that. You can also use masking tape. I don't recommend using Scotch tape because that'll be really hard to get off your pencils later. All right, so I have my pencils taped together in an X, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw with them, and I'm going to be making a sort of pathway like this. And when I go around the curves, I'm going to want to sort of curve it like a compass, because if I just go like this, I'm going to lose that curved path look, and it's going to cross over the line that I have on the bottom, or I'll end up with kind of narrow areas and then fatter areas. So I want to kind of curve the pencils with any curves that I'm doing, like that. So I'm going to move this out of my way, and I'm going to start adding my pathway to my pages. All right, so there's my pathway. You'll notice that it has some rough edges and it doesn't look perfect. What I'll do is I'll just come back in with one of my pencils, I'll untape them. I'll just smooth out any edges that I want to make a little more rounded and a little nicer looking. All right, there we are. So this is my pathway I'm going to be writing in. Now, for stream of consciousness, you can just go ahead and get a pen and start writing it in. I wouldn't use a pencil because that's going to fade. I have a India ink marker here that I'm going to use. I want to use this because it's archival, so it's not going to fade or change the color of my paper over time. But you can use anything you want, just to be aware that if it's not archival, your book won't last as long. And you can just take this and start writing and get it all the way across. I don't ever feel super comfortable just writing with a pen. I've always found that I actually write more smoothly when I type. So what I ended up doing was doing my stream of consciousness beforehand, and I printed it out. And so I'm just going to be copying that into my pathway here, and I'm just going to kind of follow the contours, maybe have some gaps on one side and one side closer to each other, to the other, so that it'll fit in, and I'll just kind of be going like kind of stripes. I'll show you with a pencil real quick, just with some lines. Just going like this with my lines for writing, so some of them might be angled so they can go around the curves. I'll just keep going like that until I fill it in, and we will get that filled in. Okay, so I just finished filling in that pathway with my stream of consciousness writing. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take an eraser. I'm going to use a white eraser. I found that the pink erasers tend to leave pink marks on white paper, so I'm going to try to stick with a white eraser if I can. I'm just going to erase the pencil marks around the edges. Alright, now that those pencil lines are erased and I just have the words that I wrote in pen, I'm going to go ahead and fill in these gaps. And I'm going to be making them look like they're filled with water ripples. So I'm going to get a few sort of blue and bluish green colored pencils, and I'm just going to draw contour lines inside each of these shapes and alternate my color pattern. You can choose to fill these with a different design, maybe something related to your theme, but I wanted to stick with the idea of this being a stream of consciousness and reference water with this. All right, so there we have it. This is my finished stream of consciousness altered book art journal page. I hope you guys had fun doing this one and will join me for more videos in the future.